Export to cloud. Share screen. Okay, so I guess we will start off with the new issues in the pull requests. Let's open this one up. Can everyone see the, can everyone see my screen here with the issues?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So I need to make this smaller. So it looks like there are a few new issues that have been creative. There's an endless recursive request to server when there's a server response error. This seems like a fairly major issue that we should be looking into. It's an upstream issue in Gopher Cloud, and so DIMS is looking at having the Gopher Cloud dependency, updating the Gopher Cloud dependency for the reauth problem. So if you have an opportunity to go take a look at that, I think that would be helpful. Federated service discovery failed in hybrid cloud. So it's not possible to have service discovery based on region and availability zone in an OpenStack cluster. This is so I'm not sure how to address this issue. It seems so it looks like they're trying to do cross-cloud Kubernetes, and it's not working for OpenStack plus GKE, a hybrid cloud. So I think that's an interesting issue. I'm not sure how to address it. Does anyone have any experience with this or any ideas about it? Okay.
I'm interested to know how others handle that, going across cloud like that.
Yeah. That's interesting. So that's interesting that it works if you don't specify the region and the zone. Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting issue we could investigate more. OpenStack provider fails to locate volumes with Hyper-V guests. Yeah. I'm wondering if this is so it looks like there's a patch in this. Yeah, so if So it looks like it's been assigned. Oh, I see. So it's hmm. Yeah, so if anyone has a chance to review this patch, it looks pretty straightforward. It looks like it's just tightening up the metadata discovery for the disks so that different hypervisors will be able to find it. So OpenStack Cloud Provider and VMs with an IPv6 address cause system pods to have an IPv6 address. Um, that's interesting. So, huh. I would almost call this more of a bug in Kubernetes, not really supporting IPv6 very well. And it looks like it could be resolved in Kubernetes 1.9. So I don't know if I would call this necessarily an OpenStack issue. I don't know if anybody has any thoughts about that.
Certainly seems like we'd want to wait until this fix for 1.9 lands to see how it affects this, at the very least.
Yeah. Yeah, I think one of the issues is that you can't an OpenStack network. You can have multiple networks attached to it, but you can't necessarily guarantee an IPv4 address. I mean, I guess if you want to run Kubernetes pods, then you would want, if you want to run Kubernetes, you would want to have IPv4 since that's kind of the standard way of managing this. Kubelet starts too many udev admin triggers. So interesting. I'm not sure how to fix this. I guess the you don't want the provider to throttle the udev admin changes. Um, Let me see. How Kubernetes interact OpenStack when config the cloud provider to OpenStack. Okay, so it looks like this maybe just be less of a bug and more how to use the metadata service. Um, there's an open feature request to clean up the load balancer service. I think this is in progress right now. I know that the load balancer version 1 is being removed in it's being deprecated and removed. So I think this is a work in progress. iSCSI volume cannot attach. So it looks like this has been resolved by the person who, so I would sign in to make comment on this, but I'm logged out of GitHub right now. So I think that we could possibly close this one. Let me sign into here. Everyone can log in with my auth code now.
Assuming we all know your password.
Yeah, well, this is my nonce. So I don't know. Does anyone know how to close these? I don't know if I have the juice to close this. I'm part of the group. And I think we can probably close this one. I'll just leave a note in the in here. So that looks like all of the issues, all of the new issues. There are older issues that are still open. A few things like there's a certificate issue. Some of these look like they may be so this is using OpenStack Heat. It's related to another issue. Looks like some containers can get wedged. And there's so this looks like a cinder detach issue. It's a pretty old issue here. Ongoing support project instead of tenant. I think this is going to be coming in through Gopher Cloud. The V2 APIs are being deprecated and removed. Yeah, looks like an outreachy person might be assigned to it. Huh. David's saying he can't speak for some reason. That's why he's been strong but silent during this meeting. It looks like some of these issues are going to be taken care of with Gopher Cloud. Right, Reauth is fixed upstream and Gopher Cloud and needs to revendor. And so, right, yeah, and I think DIMS is working on having Gopher Cloud revendored for 1.9. Yeah, I wonder if some of these issues are going to be resolved with that. Ehor's checking to see if this can be closed. Looks like it's been resolved. Okay, so we have 2 new polar crusts since the last meeting. One is to add Octavia v2 as a load balancer. So does anybody know, does this, because I know that Octavia is compatible with v2. Region availability zone is still open upstream. But I guess it's interesting to look at if. So it looks like the load balancer has an option to use Octavia, so that we'll be able to use either the LBAS v2 or Octavia. So that's nice to see. So if anybody has access to Octavia and can test this and offer comments on it, I think that would be helpful. It looks like it's not too much of a difference because Octavia is compatible with the API. And then fetch volume path from metadata service. And so this is the PR that addressed the Cinder attachment problem. And then we had some older pull requests. So support for volume v3, refactoring the OpenStack cloud provider. So some of these are pretty old. Some of these go back to May, June, July. So we might want to close some of them. Next time I have a meeting with Steve around, we'll see if maybe we can close some of these older pull requests. V3 support, I still think is waiting on microversioning support. V3 should work. You know, because V2 is version 3.0 is the same as version 2, so I would expect that this would just work, but I don't know if it's really dependent upon Gopher Cloud having V3 support. David, do you know the status of V3 support in Gopher Cloud right now? Yeah, it still has no V3 support. So auto-probing subnet floating network ID for OpenStack cloud provider. So this adds to support to auto-probe the network. This is for the load balancer work. All right, so it looks like it tries to automatically pick the first external network, which I guess would be okay. I think it would, I don't know how I feel about that. Big refactoring of the OpenStack cloud provider. This has been in progress for a while. I'm not sure what's holding this one up. Looks like it needs a rebase. Patch to make user-friendly load balancer names. This looks like a more, okay. Interesting. Well, if anyone has a chance to go do code reviews on these, I think that would be helpful. Don't filter cloud provider nodes. I think for the rest of the meeting, there were a couple of sessions at the OpenStack Summit in Sydney that we just came back, that was held last week. The first was a general OpenStack SIG Kubernetes and SIG OpenStack collaborations. It was fairly well attended. We made more progress in kind of formalizing how we want the SIG to look on the OpenStack side. We're not really going to have additional meetings. Instead, a lot of the effort's going to be on trying to just, similar to how this meeting kind of rounds up the efforts from the last week, to try to round up the existing efforts and send out a weekly update to the OpenStack mailing lists, either to the SIG mailing list or to the dev mailing list. And so we have a list of people on this Etherpad. The link is in the document of what people are working on, and these are the people I'm going to be following up with for kind of their weekly or semi-weekly roundups, just to get a sense of what's going on in the community. So if you're doing work on something and you'd like me to get in touch with you, feel free to add your name to this list. That was more or less it. We also had a session on oh, great. That's perfect. We had a session on David Lyle saying that he can report on Gopher Cloud, so I'll make sure that I get his name added to that. There was another session where we talked about improving Gopher Cloud in particular. Joe called into this meeting, and we just covered some of the issues that are going on right now. Right now, one of the biggest things that we're trying to work on is Cinder v3 support and how to design and implement micro versions. It looks like Joe says that an implementation of Cinder v3 is in progress, and it should be landing sometime in the next few weeks. And so, hoping that moves along and we get something out of that. There's been a lot of forward progress on Identity v3. In particular, there were some version endpoint discovery problems and just general v3 support in general. And it looks like a lot of those issues have been cleared up in the latest version of Gopher Cloud. So, it's looking like with Gopher Cloud, with the vendored version of Gopher Cloud and Kubernetes 1.9, I think that we're going to be seeing a lot of improvements in stability. But if you have the cycles to contribute to the Gopher Cloud work, please take the opportunity to get involved with that. So I guess we'll wrap up the meeting with for KubeCon planning. So we have a brainstorm document here. KubeCon is the first week of December. It starts on December 3rd, I think, and runs through. Actually, what is the date? It starts on December 5th, I think, or 5th or 6th, and runs through the 8th. December 6th through 8th. It's right there. The OpenStack Foundation is actually going to have two booths there. One is going to be an OpenStack branded booth. The other is going to be devoted to some of the work that we're collaborating with Intel with on clear containers. So keep an eye out for those. If you'd like to help staff the booth, please reach out to me, and we'll make sure that we'll get you scheduled into doing the booth. Or if you want to give any talks or presentations, we're also going to be trying to run some hallway tracks. We haven't had really a whole lot of luck of getting good scheduling times for the Kubernetes work. I think that our primary session is on Friday at like 3 or 4 o'clock, when a lot of people are going to the conference is going to be wrapping down. A lot of people will have left by then. But if you have an opportunity to attend, please do. There are a couple of sessions. There's going to be a community update. So one of the questions is, it looks like David has to drop. Thanks, David. We'll see you later. There's going to be just a general community update. If anybody has any notes that they'd like to highlight to the broader Kubernetes community, please add them to the active working doc here, so that we can make sure those are wrapped into the presentation. I am not certain if we're going to have another meeting before another full meeting before the conference, because the next meeting is going to be scheduled for the 29th, which is Oh no, actually, no, that should work. That's not Thanksgiving weekend. That's a full work week. So yeah, we will be able to have the meeting. So there will be a meeting on the 29th where we'll be finalizing what we'll be doing for the community update. And then there's going to be a deep dive session. It's going to be more like a discussion sessions, like the forum. There's an Etherpad with proposed topics here. Right, this is the Friday, December 8th from 3:40 to 5. So we're going to have 80 minutes. It's going to be at the end of the day. But hopefully it'll be a positive work session. And if you have anything you'd like to add to the agenda, please do. And I think that's it. Does anyone have any other things they wanted to talk about? Okay. Well, with that, then we'll call it a meeting. Thanks, Rob and Fabian, for coming, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yep. See you then. Thanks.
Bye.